Hello everyone, in this lecture we will be discussing the syllabus of world history in detail. Now in world history we have some broad subheadings, that is world before World War I, then we have World War I, after this we have world between both the world wars, then we have World War II, this led to decolonization and withdrawal of national boundaries, and after that there was Cold War. And at last we have types and social impact of political philosophies. So the best way to study world history is to remember it as a sequence of events, one after another. This will make it interesting for you to study, and also it will be easier for you to remember the events. So at first, in world before World War I, we have Europe. In Europe, we have Industrial Revolution. What were the reasons and what were the consequences of Industrial Revolution? One of the consequences was that it gave birth to colonialism. Okay, it gave birth to colonialism, and there should be a special focus on Britain, that why Industrial Revolution happened first in Britain. Then we have French Revolution. What were the reasons and what was its impact, especially on political sphere, such as the principles of justice and liberty were born out of French Revolution. Then we have Napoleon Era, and what were his achievements. Some of the achievements of Napoleon was that he unified Europe. This led to single currency and measurement system across the Europe, and he also spread the ideas of French Revolution across Europe. This gave rise to nationalism in other parts of Europe, due to which nation states were born, which led to unification of Germany and Italy. So you should know who were the important personalities for unification of Germany. We have Bismarck, and for unification of Italy we have Mazzini. Okay, how did the unification came to being, that also you should know. Then we have European nations scramble for Africa, that how European nations decided to divide Africa among themselves so to reduce infighting. Then we have Congress of Vienna, Renaissance, discovery of sea routes, Reformation and counter-reformation, and rise of slave trade. You should just have a brief overview of these topics. You do not have to study each and everything in this topic, just a brief overview will suffice. Then we have America. In this you should know European nations settle North America. How did various European nations settle the North America, especially the rivalry between British and French with respect to North America. Then we have American Revolution and War of Independence. This is a very important topic. In this you should know why did American Revolution happen in the first place. Okay, and you should know the significance of American War of Independence. The most important significance is that the first federation of the world, that is the United States of America, came into being. Also, it gave the world its first written constitution, which is in use still till the date. The American Constitution is the oldest written constitution which is still in use till date. Then we have Meiji Restoration and modernization of Japan. That why did Meiji decided to modernize Japan, and what was the reason for Meiji Restoration at the first place. Then we have rise of capitalism, which gave birth to colonialism and which again gave birth to imperialism. Then we have World War I. What were the causes of World War? Then again this is a very important topic, that is Russian Revolution and emergence of Soviet Union. What were the reasons for Russian Revolution and what was the impact of emergence of Soviet Union in various spheres, especially the workers and peasants were very excited after the emergence of Soviet Union. Then we have end of war, peace treaties and consequences. In this we have Treaty of Versailles, and what was the consequence of Treaty of Versailles. Then we have League of Nations. Okay, why was it formed, how did it function, and what were the reasons for its failure, that you should know. Then we have world between both the world wars. In Europe, the rise of fascism and Nazism should be known by us. Then what were the reasons for Great Depression and what was its effect? Its effect was that it led to World War II. This was one of the major factors which led to World War II, the Great Depression. Then we have Spanish Civil War. In this you should know what were the reasons for the war, what were its consequences, etc. Then you should know how US emerged as a strong power between both the world war. One of the reasons was that USA was isolated from the destruction of the war. Then we have World War II. In this you should know fascist aggression and the response of Western democracies to fascist aggression. Then we have outbreak of war. And then we have various theaters of war. See, what most of the candidates do is that they assume that World War only happened in Europe. But this is wrong. There were other theaters also, like there was a theater in North Africa, then there was a theater in East Asia, as Japan was invading other countries such as China, Malay, Burma, etc. Then we have US entry into the war. Why did it entered in the first place, and what was the consequence of US entering into the war? Then we have global nature of the war, that you should know that each and every country, be it India, be it Australia, Canada, Russia, USA, Japan, everyone was involved in this war. Hence, this war was global in nature. Then you should have a brief overview of Holocaust and the various resistance movements which were going in around various countries during World War II. Then we have decolonization and withdrawal of national boundaries plus Cold War. In this, you should know Europe after World War II. What was the position of Europe after World War II? And you should know about Marshall Plan that was launched by USA, so to support Europe. Then this is a very important topic, that is the Cold War. Various events such as Korean War, Vietnam War, Cuban Missile Crisis, and the Sino-Soviet split should be known by us along with their reasons and their consequences. That why did Sino-Soviet split happen? What was its consequence? Like this. Then we have decolonization of Asia and Africa. In this, we have why European powers decolonized at the first place. What was the reason? Then you should be able to compare the decolonization experience between various nations. That what was the decolonization experience of India? What was the decolonization experience of South Africa? Similarly, in Congo, when the Belgian left, okay, when the Belgian left, there was a civil war in Congo. Similarly, that was in Rwanda and Uganda also. So like this, the experience of each and every country was very different in decolonization process. Then we have important personalities of freedom struggle in various countries. In this, we will have such as Nelson Mandela in South Africa. Then we have Jomo Kenyatta in Kenya. So these were the various important personalities in freedom struggle for various countries. Then we have China. Nowadays, China is getting more and more importance in news. So there's a chance that UPSC may ask a question on China. So in China, we have Qing Dynasty. Then there was Opium War. Then there was Boxer Revolution, Warlord Era. This led to Chinese Civil War. And then we have Cultural Revolution by Mao. And at last, we have economic reforms of Deng Xiaoping. Why did he reform the economy in the first place? Then we have developments in West Asia and North Africa after World War II. That is Israel-Palestine conflict, Suez Canal crisis, Iraq, Iran war, and various other topics. Then we have collapse of Soviet Union and its effect on Russia. What was its effect on Russia? On former Soviet states, be it Eastern European or Central Asian republics. What was its effect on world politics? And what was its effect on India? How collapse of Soviet Union affected India? This should be known by us. Then we have neocolonialism. We should know the definition of neocolonialism with a special focus on USA. Then we have types and social impact of political philosophy. In this, you should know communism, capitalism, and socialism. What is their definition? What are their features? And what are their differences? Then we have various writers such as Kant, Rousseau, and Montesquieu, etc. This should be also known by you in a just brief manner. So this more or less ends our world history syllabus discussion. Thank you.